In previous videos, I've mentioned to you about how difficult it is to get a draft or a sketch on rural roads. Here we are, I'm on Martha's Vineyard actually, and I'm going up island. It's more rural, the roads are windier and they're more narrow up here. So anyways, I get on this bus and I notice a dog in the back, who I'm saying hi to right now. So I think this is pretty cool because, well, this dog is actually a lot calmer than I think he'd be. And nobody on the bus, as usual, notices me. It's amazing. Like, I can draft buses like this, tour buses or whatever kind of bus. Windows in the back. Windows all around. People don't even notice me back here. It's pretty funny. So getting up to speed is tough because it's difficult when the vehicle, no matter how big it is accelerating, because you want to accelerate, but you also want to be sure that you're not going to get brake checked or, something happens during the acceleration. That's the most difficult part of the drafting, of course, is the acceleration and the uphills. So this bus, by the way, might be able to tell it's kicking up quite a bit of sand when it gets near the edges of these small roads. I'm kind of pissed about that on account of the fact that I just cleaned this bike, and so having just cleaned it, drivetrain, everything, the bike is sparkling, and it's a new bike. Having cleaned it and getting this much sand in it, oh well, it's worth it. For this draft, these speeds, how quick I'll get up island, this is worth it. So whatever, having fun. And the dog is still curious looking at me, kind of doesn't know what to make of the fact that I'm back there, and you can kind of see him through the window. So the bus is going over the yellow a little bit, going over the white line, and again, narrow roads. So the thing about narrow roads is the fact that when you're on one of these roads, it's actually less predictable than the city because you really don't know what's going to pull out. Vehicles are going at faster speeds than the city often. So drafting out here is a whole different game. But if you can master the game of drafting out here, you can pretty much do it anywhere. And I'm just coasting. I mean, this is just such an awesome feeling, right? Just to be able to coast at these speeds. I'm close enough that I can do that. So, and one of the things that you'll notice when you do this is you'll notice that, cars tend to give you a lot of room. They see you doing something like this and they tend to back off and not follow you that close. Usually, of course, in Miami, they'll follow you pretty close because they want to get photo or video posted on Oli and Dade. So I'm doing this telemarking slalom motion. I kind of want to get the dog to start looking back and forth. I'll play with him a little bit. But that's what you can do when you have a clean draft, when you've got something good going on, is you can, jump and you can weave and do things like that. Just so much sand coming up because of this darn bus, but whatever. The guy knows what he's doing. These roads really were not made for vehicles this big, but I guess I'm thankful today that there is a vehicle this big heading my way. This is a blast. A bus full of people is something that people are more careful of, and the driver is less likely to slam on the brakes or do something erratic, when there's that many people on the bus. So I feel more comfortable drafting something like this than I do just a truck, just somebody with, a driver, and that's it. So these are nice roads, and the exhaust is low enough that I'm just getting the fresh air. A little bit of, exhaust in the turbulence, the negative air current. But it's okay. So this is difficult because this is called Abel's Hill, and I'm about to give up here. And then on Abel's Hill, it's pretty high, I realized John Belushi is buried at the cemetery on our right. And there's a bunch of other famous people buried at that cemetery. So what the tour bus did, lucky for me, I wouldn't have been able to keep up otherwise, was the tour bus put on its brakes. So that was kind of cool. So here we go. I wouldn't have been able to follow that bus up that hill had they not eased off the gas or applied the brakes. But I'm back on, going down a hill, flying through nature, just beautiful flora and fauna and all these stone walls. So just so happy, and I'm jumping, bunny hopping a little bit. I mean, this is just awesome going through here. I used to mend these walls, by the way. I used to pick up rocks and patch these stone walls. Big rocks, and then go for a swim. And then come back and work on the wall some more. Go in the ocean, work on the wall, back and forth. Built muscle like crazy doing that. Never really been to a gym. It's the hell with a gym. This is not the gym. This is the outdoors. And this is just a really cute dog looking at me. Nobody notices me, and he just doesn't know what to make of it. I give the bus some room. A little bit of room. It's difficult judging how much room you need to give a vehicle, because if you're close, I mean super close, millimeters behind, then what's going to happen is if they brake, your tire's merely going to rub the bumper. I mean, right now, if this bus were to brake, I could probably slam on my brakes quicker. I mean, I've been able to 100% of the time, knock on wood, when that's happened. But sometimes you're actually safer following really close. And here's the sand kicking up again. You can see the sand flakes just flying through the air. And it's getting in my eyes now, even though I have eye protection on. So I'm looking around. I know there's a turn coming up, and once in a while I'm looking around the bus just to see. But you don't want to look too long or go too wide out. You don't want the driver of whatever vehicle it is to see you peeking out in their mirror, because if they do see you back there, they might react. You don't know what they're going to do. They might not want you back there, of course. And so the speeds will suck. They'll be going really slow, or they just won't be cooperating. I don't know. So anyway. And this is another hill here. But I know the island. I know there's an intersection coming up here, so I know that this is okay. I'll be able to, hang on. But this is hella effort, going through here. It definitely burns. So yes, there's intersection coming up here. This is actually we go by the general store that Alan Dershowitz got bitched out at. So here we are. And yeah, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm always curious about who's riding, who's doing what. But anyways, I'm gonna stay on. I'm gonna see how much longer I can stay on. There's a bit more of the island to actually go. The island's not that long, but there's a little bit more. There's the Alan Dershowitz bitch out store, whatever you call it. That's pretty funny. Drives off in his old Volvo. If I was there, I would have sketched it. Yes, definitely. So there's a chocolate factory, there's a pond, there's some other stuff here that the tour bus, slowed up for, whatever. So I'm on, and I'm not going to be on for real long. This is a hill. I can kind of see it coming. I'm going to give it my all, but... That's how you get the KOMs and how you impress the dog. All right, draft fast, old school dial.